Let's take a look at some of the liberal media's reaction to Operation Play by the Democrats' New Rules by giving them a taste of their own medicine after Leticia James, the New York Attorney General, has been indicted for bank fraud, for mortgage fraud, who literally campaigned for that position by promising that she would trump up charges, no pun intended, against Donald Trump for, well, I'm sure you recall, bank fraud by claiming that Mar-a-Lago was only worth $18 million because he used it as collateral to get loans for another building, another property. And so she claimed that he artificially inflated the value of Mar-a-Lago when just a tiny little corner of the property with nothing on it is worth $18 million. And this was a grand jury. Remember, a jury from her peers. So this isn't just some unilateral movement by the Justice Department or Pam Bondi or President Trump. She was indicted by a jury of her peers. Remember, no one is above the law.
Let me say first, this week, this is a watershed moment in American history. Not since Watergate, Chris, have we seen a president weaponize the Justice Department to go after his political rivals. Donald Trump will still claim a sense of victory here, because for him, the process is the punishment. It takes a lot of money to defend yourself against the U.S. Department of Justice. It's an emotional toll. And then more than anything, he really wants to send a signal to anyone and everyone who would dare oppose him. If you come up against me, I'm coming after you.
Never before has the Justice Department been weaponized like this. Since Watergate, he says, coming from the party that did everything that they could to try to trump up as many bogus charges against President Trump as possible and throw him in prison for the rest of his life. And I'm not being hyperbolic when I say that she literally campaigned for the position of Attorney General by promising her voters that she would trump up charges against President Trump.
Will you sue him for us?
Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the ass.
I will never be afraid to challenge this illegitimate president.
We need to focus on Donald Trump. We need to follow his money. What is fueling my soul right now is Trump.
This illegitimate president. I look forward to going into the office of Attorney General every day, suing him, and then going home.
But according to the Clown News Network, everyone who has ever bought a house apparently has committed some kind of mortgage fraud. So what's the big deal?
Aside for a second, what Tish James, and again, we're still getting the details, but if it's related to this mortgage issue, I mean, this is something that everyone in America, or many people at least, if you're lucky enough to be able to buy a house in America, you deal with this, right? The federal government doesn't go after all of these people for doing this.
No, actually, most people don't commit mortgage fraud, and what she did is lied on a mortgage application for a rental property for like $100,000, which has gotta be in the slums. So she's a slumlord. I don't think you can even buy a garage anymore in America for $100,000, let alone a house. And so when people buy a rental property, they have to pay a higher interest rate because it's an investment. It's not their primary residence. They're leveraging themselves. They have their own, primary mortgage payment. Now they have another mortgage payment. And so tenants are in there, and the owner's not occupying the property. There's a higher rate of the property being damaged, obviously. And so she lied and said that the slum that she bought was her new primary residence. So she can't even claim that it was just like a second home and, oh, she just made a mistake. I mean, I thought I was going to be living in this home and I just got confused. I guess I didn't spend enough time there to be a resident in that house. This is straight up fraud. So when she indicted President Trump for supposedly committing mortgage fraud, which obviously he didn't, that was very bad. The media said that this is just an awful crime and fraud, and he should go to prison. But now that she committed basically the same exact crime, it's no big deal.
These New York charges, residential mortgage fraud, among them, one of the most serious. So he's looking at 1 to 3 years minimum, 8 to 25 years maximum. These are huge ranges. But those would be inescapable, right? There's nothing a president can do to pardon on a state charge.
Very serious charges. Many years in prison.
James is the first Attorney General of New York to be indicted by the Justice Department, and it follows a nearly 6-month investigation into claims of mortgage fraud. Now, that is a charge the United States Justice Department rarely brings against individuals, but of course, James is not an ordinary individual. Trump considers her an enemy after she sued him in 2022, accusing Trump of lying about his real estate empire and the inflating the value of his property.
Well, what goes around comes around. You reap what you sow. Tell us more, CNN, about how this crime shouldn't really count.
I want to break down this indictment against James in plain English. I want you to forget the legal codes. Here it is. They say that she bought a property. She claimed it would be used for personal use only as a second home. Instead, she rented it out to a family of 3. Now, here is why the prosecutors want you to care. Prosecutors say that the banks suffered because when she claimed it was for her, she got a note rate of 3% rather than 3.815%. And between that and a seller credit, she probably saved 19 grand over the life of the loan. The prosecutors say that her misrepresentation, so they're saying it is, that it harmed the bank. They don't allege how in this indictment. They don't allege when they were harmed. They don't allege why they were harmed.
The bank was harmed because she defrauded them out of $18,000 in interest, which Leticia James herself said was a terrible thing to do when she claimed that that was what Donald Trump was engaged in. Posting this on Twitter back in 2024, when powerful people cheat to get better loans, it comes at the expense of hardworking people. Everyday Americans cannot lie to a bank to get a mortgage, and if they did, our government would throw the book at them. There simply cannot be different rules for different people. New York Governor Kathy Hochul, who said that black people don't know how to use a computer, remember that one? She responded by saying Attorney General Tish James has spent her career holding power accountable and delivering for New York families. Now Donald Trump is weaponizing the justice system for his own political gains, an attack on our state and our freedoms. New York will not back down. This is the same woman who changed the law specifically so that this whack job, E. Jean Carroll, could sue because her delusion was far past the statute of limitations when she claimed that Donald Trump assaulted her in the dressing room of a very high-end store like decades earlier. An idea that she had planted in her mind from an episode of Law and Order SVU, which was literally the plot in an episode. This is the same woman who used to post on Facebook after Donald Trump started hosting The Apprentice about how much she loved him and the show because it's totally normal for the victim of SA to love their alleged assaulter and their shows, right? Now, a handful of Republicans who claim to be principled conservatives, cuck-servatives, are claiming that President Trump shouldn't sink to their level, that we shouldn't be playing by their rules, we shouldn't be playing dirty like them, we shouldn't be using lawfare against them, giving them a taste of their own medicine because, well, when the Democrats get back into power, they're just going to be using the same tactics against us, which is the dumbest argument I've ever heard because they've been using those tactics against us. And we've been playing by the rules. And when somebody is cheating at a game and you're playing by the rules, you're going to lose, especially if you're stuck in the game and you can't get out of it. And so we're in uncharted territory. We're probably in a collapsing empire at this point. The Democrats completely shattered all rules, all social norms. They're not going back. They've proved that they would never go back. They just keep doubling and tripling down. And so we have to use these tactics against them until maybe the two parties could call a truce and finally come to some agreement and be like, okay, maybe we should get back to, normal civil discourse, normal civil society, which probably won't even happen because like I've been saying, we probably are in a collapsing empire. So just buckle up. Subscribe to my channel if you're new here, and if you enjoy watching my videos, then buy me a coffee by clicking the link in the description below. It's a great way for you to tip your favorite content creators because the super thanks and super chats on YouTube get skimmed by YouTube. They take like 30 or 40% before taxes. So buy me a coffee is a great service for you to bypass their skimming. So just click the link in the description below, head on over there, and check it out.